You have to go over to the officers' quarters. There's trouble with the lighting over there. So I go over there and couldn't get it working. I got a ladder and climbed up to the fixture in the middle of the ceiling. And I see this little guy walking around there in fatigues. So I said to him, "Hey, hand me those pliers down there." I didn't want to go down there, you know. And I fixed it. He didn't say anything. He picks it up, hands it to me. Later he goes inside. He comes out. He had a major's uniform on. You didn't talk to a major that way.
We had 1,000 patients in the hospital who had nothing but TB. I say nothing but TB, but they had only TB. The rest of the patients, which was another 1,000, were all patients who were from the Pacific Theater. And many of those, most of those, were Marines that had been wounded and had orthopedic wounds.
We just kept going for 30 hours, never stopped to sleep or rest or anything. And when finally the war ended right then. So we went into this town along Lake Garda. We were so exhausted. I can remember sitting down with my pack on my back and fell asleep for about 6 hours.
One of the first people, officers I met, I had when I was in the Army. He said, "Now, one thing I want to get straight with you," as we came in the group. He says, "No matter where you go, in civilian life, school, or a job, if you're here in the Army, wherever you go, you're gonna find one guy who's a son of a bitch, excuse me." And he said, "In this outfit, I'm it."
My mother joined the Red Cross. She would go certain days and go and roll bandages and do other things. And all the moms, all the older moms that had men in, would hang up the star in their window so that every time you looked at somebody's house, you knew if they had somebody in the service.
The people were just coming out of the Great Depression then.
Yes.
And we had lost our home in Chicago. I was just a little kid.
And
She had lost.
My parents lost their home in Lamont. So we went and moved in with my grandmother up the lane. And like I said, across a field of corn, we saw each other.
All we talked about in high school was, are you going into the Army or the Navy or the Marines? And I was all set to go. And then I lost my brother just before I turned 18. I didn't have the guts to go to my folks. We were on a Sunday afternoon and we were having company. And I opened up the telegram and I went to my uncle to tell my folks because I didn't have the guts. And he went to my mother and she was standing up against the wall and she went down like this and like this. So those things I'll never forget.
We planned missions. We planned missions for the aircraft flying into North Korea, up by the DMZ. And, well, I have two wonderful sons who were in the Air Force too, and wonderful wife. We moved all over the world, and it was all enjoyable. My whole military career, really. 28 years.
I wanted to call the Mound City, Kansas, and so forth, and waited for my name to be called. And the Korean fellow that was running it finally called me out into the hallway and said he couldn't find Mound City. And I realized later on that this mix-up about the name of the place that I wanted to call was really an opportunity for me to hand over a little extra money.
And when we got to Korea, we were off the port that night, and the sky was lit up with artillery and bombs, and the sound was ominous. And we were all crowded over on the side of the ship. And I remember the poor Marines, I felt real sorry for them because they knew that probably the next day they would be in there. And they were ready to go.
You know, the story is that we fight for the flag, for our Constitution, for freedom. Yeah, we fight for our buddies because we care about each other.
I mean, we went through a lot, but we were able to get it out of our system, you know, and put it behind you. That's the main thing.
It never was anything but a labor of love.